If people are buying it for investment and for a return and looking to that party for a return.
The XRP ledger uses something called consensus algorithm. And so all of the XRP ever created is 100 billion units. Ripple owns a lot. And so that's on account of our treasury, and we can control how we sell it to customers. But there's no more XRP that can be created.
The market's not great right now, but is an IPO on the cards at some point?
Well, I think we want to get certainty and clarity in the United States with the US SEC. I'm hopeful that the SEC will not slow that process down any more than they already have. But we certainly at a point in scale where that is a possibility, and we'll look at that once we're past this lawsuit with the SEC.
I think there will be public crypto companies. I had originally predicted we'd see them in calendar year 2020.
As the world's economy dips even harder, the Ripple lawsuit with the SEC continues with eroding force. Come to think of it, we might just be at the cusp of something big, as this lawsuit might be the start of much quicker regulatory clarity for cryptocurrencies in the US. Now, this has become a trend for the SEC in recent times, as the United States' principal financial regulatory agency hasn't only dragged the most innovative and most prominent crypto payment company in the US to court for multiple years now, but it has gone ahead to file a recent lawsuit against the world's largest crypto trading platform, Binance, for similar allegations to that which it had against Ripple Labs. This one here says, after Ripple's XRP, SEC now investigates Binance for violating security regulations. What do these SEC filings indicate? Is the SEC seriously looking to sue every crypto platform, impeding innovation in the country? Or is it trying to do the opposite and speed up regulatory clarity with these multiple filings? Well, let's find out.
So, the SEC regulates companies in the US by something called selective enforcement. The SEC can't sue every market participant involved in violations of securities laws, so it files select lawsuits on issues that will send a message to other market participants. That's the idea. It's like being a parent. You randomly spank one of your kids for doing what all the others are doing, just to keep them in line. Anyway, and in regard to the crypto industry, you can see that there have been surprisingly few lawsuits filed by the SEC. And the lawsuits that are filed are parsed over by private securities lawyers and used in opinion letters to crypto companies saying, don't do this or make sure you do that. Now, looking at this chart, you can see the number of crypto-related lawsuits filed by the SEC really picked up in 2018. What we are looking at is the pastel green-blue color, and those are lawsuits filed. And you can see in all of 2020, 17 crypto lawsuits were filed of various types. Some were fraud, some were very small coins. The big one, of course, was the Ripple lawsuit. But the truth is that most of the companies or individuals that were sued either threw their hands up and said, got me, and consented to judgment, or fought the charges but quickly realized they were going to be ran into the ground and they couldn't afford the millions of dollars that it would take to fight the lawsuit.
Meanwhile, Hermes takes one of the heirs to the famous Rothschild family, Mason Rothschild, to court. According to this document, Hermes filed a complaint, subsequently amended, claiming trademark infringement, trademark dilution, and cybersquatting. These papers were filed in December 2021, exactly 1 year after the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit had Mason Rothschild, generally regarded as Rothschild, filing a counter-motion to dismiss the amended complaint, given its failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted under federal law. Also, Ripple initial coin offering incoming. What is this Xrp buyback everyone has been talking about? Is it about to kickstart? Why did Ripple buy back their Series C shares? Are they still looking to do an IPO after the Xrp lawsuit? Let's find out. In the meantime, hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and don't forget to check our description section for some useful links.
It will get worse, which is very, very sad. It doesn't have to happen. As I said before last week, I said it last week, a recession does not have to happen. What the obsession that President Biden has with not turning on the spigots in North America, in Canada, Alaska, and let America, North America, we have 100 years worth of oil. Let them open up the spigots and the price of crude oil will come back down to 55, 60, maybe 65, half. Nobody can understand, all the people I talk to, nobody can understand why this obsession with North America. He wants to fly to Saudi Arabia and beg the Saudi Arabians to give us another 500,000 barrels at $120 a barrel. Does that make any sense at all? It makes no sense. And what's going to happen, he wants to force the, and I disagree with our own economists, that our own friends, that they raise the interest rates by the Fed, because what's going to happen? Instead of bringing down the price of oil and controlling recession, increase the price of interest rates, and guess what? It'll wipe out the real estate industry. It'll wipe out everything else in America. Somebody is on a path to try to destruct America, and somebody has to say, guys, enough is enough. I hope we have enough common sense Democratic senators to say enough is enough. Why are we
When it comes to the gas prices, we're going through an incredible transition that is taking place, that God willing, when it's over, we'll be stronger and the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels when this is over. This is going to be a haul. This is going to take some time.
Markets are really afraid of the inflation story because that ties back to the Fed's policy path and how high are real rates going to go. And what we're seeing in the markets is a rotation from growth stocks with earnings very far in the future towards stocks that are much more value stocks, earnings here in the present. And this reflects the fact that real rates, for the first time in a very long time, are likely to go positive in 2023.
The elites keep talking about an inflationary period in not only the United States economy, but that of the entire world. A hostile takeover seems to be in play. The world order, essentially with the financial sector, is about to experience a paradigm shift. There are speculations that there will be a flipped switch from the current traditional monetary system to a more neoteric option, like crypto, once the Great Reset fully sets in. A single currency that would serve as a bridge currency, not only between crypto to crypto assets, but also between crypto to fiat exchanges. A digital currency that is diverse, cheap, and can complete cross-border transactions quicker.
Ripple CEO Brett Garlinghouse, he joins us right now. And you know, David, some say Ripple could be the next Bitcoin. What do you think, Brett? Is that a compliment that Ripple could be the next Bitcoin?
Well, I think if we're solving a real problem and it's at scale, then I think it's a compliment. I think the most important thing that is going on in crypto is understanding what is real and what is just hype. Some, I think, may look back on Bitcoin and find that it was the Napster of digital assets. What I mean by that is Napster was the first to digitize music and demonstrate, hey, if you digitize music, you can do a lot of cool things with that. But ultimately, they were circumventing trademark laws, they were circumventing royalty payments, and government stepped in, and Napster was not successful. But Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, they were very successful. I think what you'll find is that maybe the next generation of digital assets ends up solving some of the original problems that Bitcoin set out to solve.
And what cryptocurrency is set to achieve that? Well, you tell me. According to this study by the University of Michigan Law School from 2016, titled Understanding and Regulating 21st Century Payment Systems, the Ripple Case Study, if we scroll down a little towards the end of that document, here it talks about stakeholders' buy-in. It says, in addition, not only does the very foundation of the Ripple protocol mirror a self-regulatory organization in many ways, but it provides the best means to ensure users develop the protocol in the most socially beneficial way. Ripple users must accept by at least a majority any changes to the protocol. The development of the protocol in its very essence is self-regulatory, although it is a de facto and not a de jure sort of self-representation. This sort of organization could help motivate users' buy-in because it would give users a forum to communicate their views with regulators in a constructive way. So what is all this about shareholders' buy-in, Xrp Buyback, and it's just beginning, Ripple initial public offering incoming? Let's look at a tweet by Ripple CEO at the start of the year in January. Hold on a sec, let's check that out on the Twitter thread reader. Excited to announce Ripple bought back our Series C December 2019 shares at a $15 billion valuation. 2022, slowdown is not in our vocabulary. Even with 2021's headwinds, it was our best year on record, and Ripple's financial position, $1 billion in the bank, is the strongest we've ever been. RippleNet is much more than cross-border payments. It's bringing crypto-native services such as liquidity to enterprises. Today, the network has a volume run rate of more than $10 billion. Huge props to the team for continuously upping their game and leaning into new capabilities every year. RippleX, full speed ahead on establishing a multitude of capabilities to the Xrp ledger, NFTs, CBDCs, interoperability bridges, sidechains, and so much more. Working hand in hand with devs and partners around the world. It's a multi-chain world, after all.
I saw an interesting move you guys did. You bought back your round C shares at a higher valuation than what they were at the moment. What was the rationale behind that?
So we did a Series C financing, I'm going to try to get my dates right here, in 2019, in the Q4 of 2019, and we raised $200 million from a series of investors. When we negotiated that, we had pre-negotiated the ability to repurchase that up to a certain period of time for 1.5x the issuance. So we repurchased all of the Series C back from our investors because we thought it was a good investment. We thought that was accretive to all of our other shareholders. As you mentioned or you asked, we have been profitable and cash flow positive, so we're able to use that. So we've repurchased north of $500 million of Ripple shares over the past couple of years, including that financing.
Listening to that, what comes to mind is exactly what this Twitter user, Wrath of Kahneman, tweeted as a follow-up. He says, and now for something obvious, Ripple bought back Series C shares. Series C investors were Tetragon, Route 66, and SBI. Tetragon sued post-SEC. SBI and Route 66 are ostensibly still invested from earlier rounds they also participated in, Series B and A respectively. On the surface alone, it totally looks like letting Tetragon move while the other two participants remain invested. Elsewhere on the web, there's this one that says crypto firm Ripple will explore IPO after SEC lawsuit ends, CEO says. So the clip we just listened to was recorded sometime at the Davos conference in Switzerland. And according to the CEO of the Decacorn firm,
we're now at a stage of growth where I think we're more likely to be the buyer versus the buyee versus also.
And of course, the market's not great right now, but is an IPO on the cards?
Guys, looking through the comments on that Brad Garlinghouse tweet, this one from one particular Twitter user struck my attention so profoundly. It's from Persistence Over Resistance. They say, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the three investors with Series C shares was SBI. SBI is owned by the Rothschilds. Does this mean Ripple is no longer associated with the Rothschilds? If we remember, SBI is Ripple's largest external shareholder, which goes on to say that the Rothschild family is heavily invested in Ripple and Xrp. This is the same family that had on multiple occasions single-handedly fixed the price of gold. A family deeply rooted in various conspiracy theories, given the Rothschild family's historical wealth and influence, which have made it the subject of many conspiracy theories, obviously, ranging from claims that this centuries-old family controls the weather to allegations that the family is the puppet master of global financial institutions.
Okay. I used to work for Swift. I was Swift for 20 years, so Swift is flowing through my veins. Swift is the preeminent messaging system for the financial industry, which covers, say, payments, FX, trade, in terms of securities, etc., Nostra reconciliations, etc. What we're looking with the crypto, though, is where Swift would have a store and forward system for most of its payment transactions, where you need service level agreements that in a certain time I will do something, but payment turns up at a certain time during the day. Here we're looking at the new network styles, which allow instant, real-time movement to the funds and visibility of those funds as well. So we would not have a situation where banks need to come back to you and say, have my funds arrived? It's 3 days later. I need to find out or find query messages moving around the network. There's nothing like that. I don't believe Ripple is going to replace Swift. Ripple is one of the complementary networks, which is going to allow those institutions who need real time to make use of that. And I think we're also seeing that Swift are changing their network capability so that real time will be a possibility as well. But we may also see.
There's a long list if you want to check it out, but this isn't the kind of thing we talk about on the channel. Here, take a look at this. But that's all we have for today, folks. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, we'll see you in the next video.